Johnson against Jimmy Certain. In case you just joined us, Jimmy here is a winner of $1,800. Earl Johnson will be defeated, received $1,600. It's live and in color, and Jimmy with a real green shirt on. And he's starting out the way he did the last game.
The boys are looking very colorful with their multicolored shirts, Bud, and right now Jimmy Certain's looking very powerful with that strike ball. Here's the Kokomo Kid, the former winner of the Denver Open, 1964 winner. A little slow, gets an awful good break as he hits high on the head pin, leaving only the 10. Thus far, both Earl Johnson and Jimmy Certain, Bud, are semi-rollers. The ball tracks outside the thumb hole, and also Don Johnson.
See, Don here was the winner in 1964. Ooh, that was a little shifty, wasn't it?
He'd used the slide rule there. He had it figured pretty close.
He's shaking his head about that, too, and I don't blame him. Don has averaged 225 on these two lanes. He has 4 wins on the PBA Tour, and his average last year was 210. That was 8th as far as the tour was concerned.
Very slow and very deliberate in his approach. I'm sure you folks will remember the great battle that Don Johnson and Jim Stefanich waged in the Tournament of Champions in the tie match and then in the sudden death playoff. Don's great pressure player.
Here's Jimmy Certain, who started out the last game, which he won over Earl Johnson with 6 strikes in a row. Is that 2? That is. He's getting out of there flying.
Well, the Redstone missile range is not too far from Huntsville, and he's got one of those missiles working today, Bud.
And as you can see, he leads by 10. Denver Open, in case you just joined us. Big one coming up next week, the Cougar Open in Kansas City. Total prize money there is $75,000. And it's 3 in a row for Jimmy Certain. That puts him about 20 ahead of the man from Kokomo, Indiana here, Don Johnson, who's 27 years old.
Beautiful carry, Bud. The value in Don Johnson's speed paid off for him there.
We asked Don Johnson what he thought was most important part of his game earlier.
Well, I think the most important part of my game is keeping my feet real slow, going slow to the line, and also concentration plays a great part in professional bowling. Now, actually, I feel my game is not as good as a lot of the other pros out here, so I try to make it up in concentration.
Well, he concentrated almost, except for 1 pin there.
And, Bud, that 1 pin is a very valuable break. In the 5 falling, leaving only the 2 standing, he now has a relatively easy spare. When the 5 remains standing, it poses a possibility of chopping off the front pin.
Well, Jimmy Certain is leading here. He has a perfect game going over Don Johnson. Live and in color, it's Professional Bowlers Tour. You can see Jimmy Certain is leading here by 11 pins going into the 4th. And Jimmy in the first game had 9 strikes, 6 in a row. Don't forget, a perfect game on our show, $10,000. The man who bowls a perfect game, and a Cougar from Lincoln Mercury.
Bud, that's 9 strikes out of 11 shots, and 3 for 3 this game. He's had 12 out of 14 shots. And he's looking pretty good here.
4 in a row for Jimmy Certain. See the man with the glasses on behind Jimmy. That's Joe Richards, a veteran bowling writer from the New York Daily News. He's seen 56 300 sanctioned games, and perhaps this afternoon We'll see his 57th.
That ever-present cigar. He really delights us all week. He's very astute.
Is that 5 in a row? It is!
Bud, this boy is really sharp.
Now here is that release.
There you see the cranking motion. That body position triggered sets him up for great leverage in the shot. Now watch, when the adrenaline is flowing, when you're excited, you see how he moves around on the approach.
Don Johnson, trailing by 31, leaves the 7. That was a tough break.
Yes, it was. He's using a very deep inside angle. He's a little deeper than anyone in the finals field today. And when I say deeper, I mean more toward the center of the lane. Those arrows are 5 boards apart, and he's inside the 3rd arrow. So he's between the 15th and 20th board. From here, I'd have to say he's rolling about over 17.
There are the marks that go over. The board you're talking about. He's got the spare easily. He trails by 32. Don Johnson. Mentioned he averaged 225 on these 2 lanes. He's 27 years old. By the way, the average age of our finalists is 32 this afternoon. It's the first time we've been over 20.
Bud, the boy has a great arm swing. Here you can see full-length pendulum swing. Gets that good break off the wall again, leaving only the 2. But the way Jimmy Certain is striking, Don Johnson's going to have to find that 1-3 pocket.
And Johnson now trails Jimmy Certain by 33. Jimmy Certain has 5 strikes in a row. Denver Open. Last game, in which he defeated Earl Johnson, he had 6 in a row.
Hey, oh, brother. Hit him thin and watch him spin. That ball is really alive.
Now he has 6, the same as last game. He had 9 altogether in the first game. And don't forget, a perfect game, ABC will give Jimmy Certain a check for $10,000.
Very intense.
How about this one?
Powerful strike, Bud.
Got 7 in a row going for Jimmy Certain. There they are, strung out for you. And the tension really mounts here. The Broadway Bowl, located in Littleton, Colorado, just south of Denver. And now Don Johnson trails by 53.
Well, he's not in any trouble leaving the 2-pin, but he's in trouble because he's not striking, and Jimmy Certain is. Jimmy Certain now 16 strikes out of 18 shots. That's pretty well the story here this afternoon, Bud.
That's a pretty good story for Jimmy Certain. Don Johnson has the stare.
Bud, we'd like to point out the new breed is very businesslike player. Not only on the lanes, they are very good at keeping their books, investing their money. And to show you the acumen that this boy has, Don Johnson staged his own tournament in Kokomo. It was a thrill of his lifetime, the Kokomo Open on our fall tour.
Oh, he needs more of those.
He needs a whole basketful, Bud. His best possible score is 236.
Okay, here we go again now. It is Jimmy Certain. He has 7 strikes in a row. This is live, so you might see your first 300 sanctioned game on television. So hold your hats. He's got 8.
Bud, those pins are getting off of there like the skiers on the slopes around here.
And that fellow in the orange shirt behind him is Tommy Tuttle, who was the alternate. He finished 6th there. There it is. And the tension really mounts at the Broadway Bowl. 8 in a row for this young lad from Huntsville, Alabama.
But the same hit that stopped him in the first game. In the 7th frame, he left what we would call a soft 10. The ball enters the pocket coming from too wide an angle, and the 6 won't come back off the wall with any force.
And Jimmy Certain now leads by 63 pins. There's our winner, Jimmy Certain, who shot 6 strikes in a row in his first game, left the 10 pin. 8 in a row in the second game, left the 10 pin. Maybe, who knows, if he keeps on at this 8, 10, 12, he might have a perfect game by the championship. And here's Don Johnson, who really ran into a buzzsaw.
That was the best stroke of the match for Don Johnson. A very slow approach, full-length arm swing. And the most important item in that last shot was his full-length follow-through.
Don Johnson will finish 4th, winning $1,800. Earl Johnson finished 5th, winning $1,600. And Jimmy Certain keeps on going. Here's where they finished in the tournament. Tommy Tuttle, $1,400.
Keith Remsky, who made a great run, lost out in the position round game 13. Don McCune from Munster, Indiana. Harry Smith making the finals again, getting $1,150. Nelson Burton Jr., who had a little tough luck, was up there most all the way, finishing in 10th spot. Sam Baca, you'll remember from last week, got $1,050, continued his good bowling. Jimmy Mack from Dover, New Jersey. Bill Allen, who had the string going, 2 wins in a row, made the finals here, but his charm didn't bring him through, and he wound up with $950. Just a bad week for Bill, huh? Now there's Dick Weber, of course, was on our telecast here last year, got $900. And then Edward Day from Fresno, $850. And Gary Mage from Vancouver, Washington, in the final 16th spot for $800.
Well, Don Johnson finishes up with $212. And here's Jimmy Certain, who's really been hot. And speaking of that good luck charm of Bill Allen's, has carried him to 2 wins in a row in Las Vegas and San Jose. Jimmy Certain today is carrying Bill Allen's good luck charm. There's going to be a scrap for this good luck charm.
I'm going to have to sit around if I can't get in the bidding there, Bud. Incidentally, Jimmy Certain's wife, Linda, is home watching in Huntsville, and I know she's very excited about now. Jimmy finished 2nd in our Rookie of the Year balloting. Of course, we had Mike Durbin on a couple of weeks ago, who was Rookie of the Year. Jimmy had a great season. However, he didn't come through with that win. And maybe this one could set him up if he could win here today.
And he finishes with a 267 game.